Go ahead and start it, bro.
But all right. We have a very special guest today on this interview, ZOBY, the man, the myth, the legend. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna everybody knows ZOBY for his music, but today what people want to know is who is ZOBY the man? Who's the man behind the music, behind these lyrics? You know, the how he grew up and what influenced him for these raps that he just keeps pumping out. So with that, brother, go ahead and introduce yourself, your name and where you're from.
Okay. I'm from Brownsville, Texas. You know, I was born here, basically raised. Grew up in Olmito. 5th grade, I moved around over there. But I'm also from Mexico, you know. My people grew up out there.
Mexico.
Matamoros. But we used to go always to Santa Laida. I would spend the weekends over there. Basically the summers, you know.
So you would be over there and then come back over here? Mm-hmm. You were like both, raised in both?
I was raised in both sides. So for everybody that wants to know, you know. It was pretty crazy.
How was that over there? Does the growing up like in both areas, like let's say Mexico, does that kind of influence some of your
Yes, it does, with the way I talk, the slang, you know, the barrio que onda pala, you know, like talk like that, like the whole the little slang, you know, lacra, you know, the words we use out there,
especially with the music today.
Especially that also. Okay. But being born over there, you know, it was pretty chill, but then it got to a point where it started getting really bad. You know, I saw a lot of crazy stuff over there.
Can you share without incriminating yourself?
Yes, I will. I never did nothing dirty,
like
but I saw a lot of crazy stuff out there.
This is for entertainment purposes only. Share one situation that really stayed burnt into your mind.
This wasn't me, something that I did personally. It was something that I saw, you know. This I always remember this. We were heading to Santa Laida. So Santa Laida is a little town away from the city Matamoros, you know, Tamaulipas in Mexico, the country, right?
Tamaulipas?
Tamaulipas is a state, okay? So we were heading over there, and all of a sudden, you know, a bunch of trucks pulled up, and we were trying to get to Santa Laida. But in order to get over there, we had to park, you know, get into someone's house because they were having a shootout. It was some crazy stuff out there. I remember seeing, you know, some people that passed away. They're just laying down. With just crazy stuff. And I was around 8.
Okay, so you're 8. So you were seeing like shootouts, like basically like cartel type stuff at a very young age.
Yeah, and I'm not.
And I think that really does influence a lot with the rap genre right now. There's a lot of narco rap. It really booming. It's booming, man.
At the narco rap, I mean, I do it in English mostly to the point where it's something different, something trippy. I try to touch every aspect of rap, hip hop, R&B, everything with music. I just never done country,
music, man. And I get like a lot of 3-6 Mafia vibes. From it, man. I love it.
I have a crazy flow, you know.
Yes, yeah. Oh, and I stay tuned. Do not leave because there is a video that I seen, and we're gonna have to, guys. You got it. This guy was in a cop car, smoking. I mean, that's unheard of, man. That is unheard of. I've done some crazy stuff, and I have never been able to experience that. But we'll get to that later. You know. So so you seen this stuff in Mexico, and what school did you go to?
Elementary. I moved around to 3 different schools, but whatnot. Olmito. People probably remember me, Olmito Elementary, which is over there by Alton Glory, I believe so. But Olmito, and then...
Olmito's a big...
No, my bad. Ortiz.
Oh, okay.
Ortiz. I was raised, over there by Alton Glory. Ortiz, right?
Oh, okay.
Ortiz right here, like over there. And then from there, I moved to Martin because I was kind of getting in trouble. Martin Elementary.
My mom was a nurse there.
Yeah. Martin. It's a crazy school because
I used to live right there.
Kids there from the gutter. It's the city, the inner city. It's really in the middle of Brownsville. You know, if you know Brownsville, what's up with it? You know,
and if you know Brownsville, you know the whole Brownsville.
Brownsville, Texas, not Brownsville, New York, Brooklyn. You know, it's a whole different.
How about middle school?
Middle school, okay.
Because that's really where a lot of
that's where
you get
things flipped around.
You start getting influence. You know, getting pulled to certain groups of people. What group? A matter of fact, what group would you say you were with everybody, or did you stick to a certain group? Who influenced you?
Okay,
what influenced you?
Middle school, I was kind of just on my own stuff, but I would kind of hang out with everybody and whatnot. Mostly the gamers at first. I was a really hardcore gamer, you know.
Nice.
Whatnot. And I mean, I was really just a chill person.
For the fans, bro. What's your favorite game?
For the fans, I mean, I would say probably I'd have to go with BO2.
BO2?
Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
Oh, okay.
Or GTA 5, you know.
When I was on parole, I used to play a lot of... my kids got me into the Black Ops, man. That was
I like that whole series. But
so, groups. You say you were a loner, like more to yourself.
Yeah.
And game.
But I had
gamers.
like some friends that were best friends, like close friends.
Yeah,
but,
everybody gotta have some close friends for sure.
But like, I saw a lot there. That school was really bad. I mean, that's
Would
where
you
it started.
say you were more
smoking.
like a recluse?
More
I don't want to be around a bunch of people. Just my friends, my close
type of deal,
friends.
type of deal. Yeah.
Keep your circle small, man.
That's how you explain it perfectly for me. Yeah, keep it small and yeah.
All right. And okay, so in middle school, were you trouble? Not really that much trouble because I don't know, man. That video. That video.
I'm gonna be honest with you. In middle school, I wasn't that much trouble, but at the end, I already started stop caring about anybody. I stopped caring about others to the point where like people were stepping over my boundaries. So it's like, you know what? I'm gonna do something about it. I remember in 8th grade, everything just changed my whole life, bro. And I felt better after that. People were always like being mean to me and whatnot.
Were you already doing music in 8th grade?
8th grade, I mean, yeah, that's when I wrote my first rap in Mr. G's class, actually.
Oh, Mr. G, my favorite teacher.
Yeah, that
Okay. So you wrote your first rap in my favorite teacher's class.
Yeah,
that's
I have
wild.
it there at my crib. The notebook actually is something.
Oh man, for the next interview, you're gonna have to bring that and kind of share with us.
Here and everything, you know what I'm saying?
Already. So you wrote your first rap. What was it called?
It was with a homie actually that lived down the street. Me and him were like this close, but he had to move because something happened or not, something came up. It was called.
What was it
on stage or so. It was about just like I was listening a lot to Lil Wayne at the time, so it was like about getting money and. Right, who wasn't
listening to Lil Wayne? Lil Wayne influenced
all this, like
a lot of
Drake, Eminem, that stuff,
Okay,
type of deal.
Eminem. So those were your artists that you were listening to at the time would be Lil Wayne, Drake, Eminem, the ones that were popping.
I remember this song called "Forever," but where they're playing basketball, the music video, and
I'm gonna have that shit forever.
Yeah, they're playing. I remember like 7th grade because I was in basketball. I was in athletics. I was kind of. So I wasn't like a loner, but I was popular at the same time.
You were a little bit of you were known, but you didn't like to spread. You didn't like to spread yourself thin.
Yeah. I was like in the middle,
Yeah.
Not a loner, but kind of popular. Everybody knew who I was,
Yeah, you were. You kind of popular, but you're not just there with everybody.
Yeah,
but okay, you conservative is what it's called. Conservative. You were conservative. Okay.
I remember 8th grade, but actually 8th grade is talking about the joint situation about in the cop car. This happened when I was 20. But that's when I first started smoking weed. And I fell in love
so you
with
didn't start. You started in 8th grade.
7th grade, 8th grade, somewhere around there.
Hitting a little weed, there.
I remember. Yeah, we would get the gum from the paper, paper gum,
bro,
scrape off the foil. Like that.
Did you know you heat it up on the bottom?
Yeah, we do all that. Yeah, I remember.
I think as kids, man, we all. I know the listeners can relate that in Bible paper or tortilla paper.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But we would go to the sports park and just smoke there because at that time, I was there in Olmito. That's when we moved to Olmito Elementary. Around 2012. I started 5th grade in Olmito Elementary and whatnot. I didn't like it. I was new to school and I was a new kid.
Yeah.
I didn't get the royal there. It's a whole different situation. Olmito, Los Fresnos with Brownsville. I love Brownsville.
Yeah, me too.
I
went to Los Fresnos. It's a lot different from Brownsville.
Yeah, I love Brownsville. Growing up there was kind of, I didn't like it at all. I wish I stayed in Brownsville.
So when did you say you wrote your first song or your first rap, basically? When did you decide, or how did you decide? Not when, because obviously it was around 8th grade, but to say, you know what, I want to try writing a song or rapping. Did it start with poems? Did it just, you said, I'm just going to try to rap? Or, how did that come into play?
Let me go back a little bit. So when I was like in 3rd grade, I remember my sister, she was playing music. It was some like Eminem, like Not Afraid or something like that. Like the Relapse. Yeah. I remember like I was in the hallway, just playing with like some toys, like a Hulk toy,
Okay.
The classic Hulk toy. I remember that. And then she was playing like blasting music. She would always she would buy the albums. Like the Eminem, Slim Shady LP, the Marshall Mathers, a bunch of albums, and that kind of
was your sister's. Your sister's favorite was Eminem. Okay, so you heard a lot of Eminem.
I would always hear when I was around her. She was 15. I was 8 years old, and it kept kind of getting my ear, man, this is pretty cool, And then I guess a few years later, when I was in 8th grade, I decided, what? Because I was just into hip hop. I would listen to albums. I would study them. Good Kid, Mad City, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, 808's Heartbreak. I would go to 1 to 100, like the classics albums, hip hop and all history time. I was studying all that in 8th grade, and I decided. I remember one time me and my homie were like, "Damn, bro, we're tired of just never being broke,
Yeah.
Like little kids, we're being broke. We were like, we weren't. We were just chilling, we're just little kids. We're like, what should we do to get money, And we were like, what do we start rapping, and that's what we both like, Me and shout out Jose Delgadillo. He actually has one song.
What's
his name? Jose Delgadillo.
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 Okay.
He goes by
Shout
ASAP
out to
Joey.
Jose, man.
Yeah. Love you, brother. I know you're out there somewhere.
Hopefully he hears this. Hopefully he hears this, man.
He actually has a one song or like 2 songs, on SoundCloud.
Okay.
ASAP Joey, shout out to him. But he's actually the one, we both kind of came up with the idea. We should start rapping and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. And pues I wrote this rap, and then he wrote his rap one day. It was like around 8th grade. It was about the end of the year, we were about to go to summer break and whatnot. Simon. And pues, and we were going off to freshman year, high school. High school's where everything just kind of flipped.
Oh, yeah.
To the dark zone, to the Carapalo, just
you're finding yourself, man. You're finding
demons, like it was crazy. High school was crazy. I did have a normal high school experience, like
so. How was so you're transferring? You're like, okay, we're gonna try rapping. You did your song. You're going to 9th grade. You're going to high school. How was that in the first? How was that experience when you walked up in there? Like,
when I walked up, I remember I went high.
Yeah?
I went high. Being my homie, Jose Gadillo, because he was my best friend. Like, we were locked in, We were like, bro, let's just smoke a joint, It's our first day, whatever, whatnot. And
on the first day?
Yeah, we got out the bus.
I don't even know if
I remember, shout out to my mom, Maybe she would always go drop me off to his house, because I wanted to ride the bus with him, It was there in the neighborhood, Simon Olmito, and we decided to just roll up a joint. We actually have papers now because we ordered them on Amazon,
Yeah.
And
we're done with the gum papers. We're graduating, boy.
With the tinfoil, capping the bottle type of deal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With the highlighter,
With that, or the can. Everybody does something like that. So you high first day high school. It was Los Fresnos High School?
Yeah, no, it's called LFU. Los Fresnos United.
Is that one on...
San Benito's next to San Benito.
Okay, yeah.
Basically,
the 9th grade
San
building.
Benito people and Los Fresno people would go there.
It was that, man. That was different.
It's crazy out of there.
Yeah, that's cool. See, this is new to me because I didn't get to experience. I went to the high school.
That's the high school.
I've always wondered how that was.
Or now it's 11th and 12th, but the new campus is 9th and 10th.
9 and 10. Okay.
Yeah.
It's growing. It's growing. Yeah. So, man, let's go ahead and jump to, okay, so you're there. At that time, when is it then when you... Because I know you're into XXX.
Yeah, Temptation, yeah.
Yeah. So, in that era of, let's say...
The SoundCloud era? Yeah,
SoundCloud, there you go. SoundCloud. Speaking of which, man, you can look up ZOBY on, what is it, Apple Music?
SoundCloud, I think ZOBY, money sign T, ZOBY Cost, with the space at the middle. You can look me up on YouTube, Music, Apple, Spotify, mostly SoundCloud, because I was part of the SoundCloud area, But... yeah,
SoundCloud is live, so y'all go look him up, man.
I'm trying to revive it,
Music on top of music on top of music.
Yeah,
man.
Simon, just albums.
That stuff is some good stuff, man. So, high school, man. How was high school for you in general, man? What were a couple things that stand out to you in high school? Man?
High school, I hated high school. I'm gonna say it straight up. I hated it. I was the type of kid that was always like, just I'm not gonna do my work, I don't want to do this and that. I just want to smoke, type shit. And then,
so you were a rebel?
Yeah, and I was fighting in the restrooms. I was fighting in the restrooms a lot,
What caused that? Like, what do you think?
Fight?
Yeah, well, just the rebelness in you. What was it? What brought that rebel out in you?
I guess
because you were in athletics.
I was always an angry child.
Angry child.
Yeah, since I was little, I was like, it's called ODD, opposite defiant disorder. It's something like ADHD.
Yeah.
But,
okay, yeah.
You're like, let's tell you, like the teacher tells you.
You have a problem with authority.
Yeah, exactly. That's
authority.
What I was thinking. Authority. I never respected authority.
You're talking to the king of that, bro. You tell me to do this, I'm gonna be like, why?
I do the opposite. And I ask why and who, when, where, and why.
We're two kind, man.
Yeah,
we come from the same cloth. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that, man. And I think a lot of people that go into rap and they look for that deep. Songs, man, because we are like that, we are defiant people. We're rebels. Some of us without a cause.
I was like, fuck the system. Like, why do they want me in this room, writing, listening to this teacher when I could be out there, doing what I love, Not just me, but for example, let's say the kid that likes to race cars, why can't they just go to fucking school for him to go race? Everybody has their own thing to go for.
What they excel in, give them that.
The way the system was built, like the pipeline from school to jail to prison. I don't know if you ever heard about that.
Yeah.
That's
the
a
buses,
deeper talk.
It's pre-programming.
The timing, the lunch, fights breaking out, and everything's kind of same role. And like visitations,
like without the bars.
Visitations, like they're coming to pick
your
you up.
People could come and have lunch with you, but then they gotta go.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Okay, so you just were not feeling the system. You're an old soul, basically, that was already predestined to go against the system because the system is screwing us. on the real. They're screwing us,
especially for the Mexicans and blacks. You know,
with
the ice and everything. Yeah, we're doing all right.
All right, we're back. We had to take a real quick intermission. I had to go get me another beer, but we're here for the listeners, man, that are just tuning in. Man, we got a really special guest here today, man. Go ahead and introduce yourself for the ones that are just tuning in.
Yeah, I go by ZOBY. You know, I make music. I'm an artist. My real name is Juan Angel Pinales Jr. I'm a junior. You know, my dad's name is also Juan Pinales. You know what I'm saying? And whatnot. I was born June 7, 2002. I'm currently 23 years old, and I'm up and coming and just trying my best to hustle out this music and working and providing for the people what they want, you know.
Already. And indeed he is, man. If you go into the earlier minutes of this interview, you can find out where you can download his music, hear his music. But he's still going to plug it in a little while. But we're going to pick up where we left off. So right here in Brownsville, Texas, we are dealing with a lot of race type thing with the ice and everything. Ice, so as ZOBY was saying, he has a somewhat of like a problem with authority. It's a condition which a lot of us from the streets have, but we are predestined. Our spirits are old spirits, and it's just part of the game, man. Yeah. So,
which plays into my music, you know.
Yes, exactly.
Fuck the system, you know. I don't listen to authority, fuck to, you know, all that. But you know,
what's your favorite song that you have that you say that maybe like comes to your mind quick? Like, okay, I done poured a lot into this track for the listeners, so they can go listen. If you want them to listen to a song, first two songs, which ones would you tell them to listen to?
I would say, okay, so this song is called 956 / car crash / no 956, it's money sign 956 / brother / car crash, and it's 3 songs put into one. It's 4 minutes and 20 songs, and the transition is pretty cool, man. You should check that out.
We are gonna have to check that out. As a matter of fact, on our next
the cover for it, not the album but the single cover, is just a picture of me when I was younger. It looked kind of creepy, you know, the picture, like a little demon kid, like those kids that had the silver teeth, because I did have silver teeth. Silver teeth kid, you know that. You know what I'm talking about, the meme?
Yeah.
The silver teeth that, cuida mi hijo, and it has the silver teeth. I was one of those kids.
No, take care of me for him.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Well,
it comes into perspective.
Y'all got to go and check out that song, man. So that's the one that hit deep, man. So how long have you been doing music for? Recording. How long you been recording for?
I would say I'm trying to be honest here,
because the amount of music that I've seen.
I was 13 years old. I dropped my first tape, actually. It's called Retro Sights, Dirty Mics. I recorded everything. I had gotten a laptop, a mic. My mom had gotten it for Christmas, you know. Shout out to my mom, you know.
Shout out to mom, man.
Yeah, Melly, you know what I'm saying? She got me that one night, and from there off, you know, I just took off with that, you know. It's called Retro Sights, Dirty Mics. You know, I was spitting some crazy stuff for a 13, 14-year-old to be
for that album. What influenced you in that album? Because I see you have many. So on that album, you know, everybody has kind of. We were talking about, was it who was that with the acid rap?
Oh, Chance the Rapper.
Chance the Rapper. See, there's certain things that influence albums. That album was influenced on.
This was more influenced by probably say MF Doom, more lyrical, spiritual.
MF Doom.
Yeah, MF Doom. He's rest in peace to MF Doom. You know.
Oh, he passed away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How did he pass away?
I think he passed away from. I'm trying to remember. I'm not too sure, because there's been many rappers that passed away. He was already old. He was already in his 50s.
Oh, okay.
He never
He's
showed
one
his
that
face.
Actually got to make it to an old age.
He never showed his face though. Check out Matt Billy, but I don't remember how he passed away. I'm gonna lie, you know.
Well, so MF Doom, I gotta check him out. He influenced
that.
Earl
Sweatshirt also, Odd Future. You know, I was influenced a lot by Odd Future. Odd Future was more like
any Wu-Tang Clan.
Wu-Tang Clan, obviously, yeah. The 36 Chambers, you know, that whole album, that classic album where they're like with the masks on. That was pretty cool, you know. Okay. I mean, that's a classic to me, you know. I always have that in my mind. And mostly a bunch of boom rap. I was a boom bap rapper. That's how I started off.
Boom bap rapper.
Boom bap is like, you know,
it's the beat.
Bitch, you know, like boom, like the beats.
The beat, like 808s and so forth. Boom bap.
Like 90s. I was a 90s rapper.
Oh,
that's what I was.
I'm an 80s baby, 90s raised.
Yeah. So I was like the type of lyrical Nas type of deal. I was into Illmatic, all that. You know, I studied my music.
Illmatic is wicked, man.
I studied my music and went into that first, because that's how you're supposed to start off, they say. But I did it because I liked it.
Yeah.
Not because other people were saying, you know, you got to start off as
Who would you choose, Nas or Jay-Z?
That debate right there, well, the Nas versus Jay-Z. I mean, I'm going to say Nas, man. Jay-Z, I mean, he's pretty cool and whatnot, but Nas will always be, especially that Illmatic album, brother. Nas is like, that's for another album, but Nas, Life's a Bitch, and then you die, that's how we get high, so you never know when you're gonna go. With,
you know your music, brother. You know your music.
Yeah,
man.
that whole Illmatic. I actually had the Illmatic cover. It's a classic. It's considered a classic. I don't even know about hip hop.
I know. Yeah, I know.
It's considered. I had it as my Facebook profile.
I was a
that's the
Bone
crazy
Thugs,
thing.
a little bit of Wu-Tang,
Bone
Tupac,
also,
Brother Lynch Hung.
Yes,
you know, all the
Notorious B.I.G., Biggie, shout out, rest in peace.
Yeah, all the Tupacs. Biggie, but Biggie was very lyrical, man.
Yeah.
So, being that you were, or is, was, whatever, kind of on the authority thing. Now you said you kind of started rebelling.
Yeah,
and
I started off.
So I'm gonna kind of rewind a little bit. In your younger days, man, you had to have went through some stuff. You know, I'm not trying to get too personal. Just whatever you know.
I don't mind getting. I love getting personal.
Family wise, and how was home? How was home for you? How was me? I'll just share this real quick. Me, it was my mom and my grandpa. My dad got locked up in prison. My mom was dealing with shit with my grandpa. She went to college, so I was always in the streets and stuff. Home was like a mixture of good and bad, and it was confusing.
Yeah.
And it confused me in life, and that's why I became rebellious. How about yourself?
The thing for me was home will always be home. I love it there at the end of the day. But I remember back then, it was just me, my mom, and my sister, and my dad. But my dad would have to go upstate to work. He would leave for like months at a time, and he didn't really watch me grow up.
Upstate, like work? He was working?
Yeah, upstate.
What did he do?
He's actually a very smart person. He's an engineer.
Oh shit, that's nice.
He went to the Tech in Matamoros. He studied over there, crossed over here, got married to my mom, whatnot. Had me and my sister, whatnot. And but home was also kind of not home because I was never there. Like, I was that kid that they would just let me go out. Like, they wouldn't ask.
Same here.
I would spend the night at my friend's crib and
you got a little free range.
Yeah, I got a lot of free. I was let to do whatever, It got to the point where
it's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time because you get to experience things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I would be up all night, with the home. We would just walk around, smoke bud, maybe hit legs,
Yeah,
maybe. Theoretically.
Theoretically speaking. But
I was slanging a little dope here and just weed, every other high school kid has done that, in the restaurant. I remember once, let me tell you the story. One time, I sold it was like a dub, a 20 sack, it was like a gram of Doty. This was 2015-16, right? And I just sold it there in the lunchroom, literally right there in front of the securities and everything, like teachers passing by, principals. I was selling that, by 20s, dubs. I'll get it for like 10.
All in front of the security.
Yeah.
Kind of like in the cop car.
Mm-hmm. Type of deal. There's more crazy stuff, but this is just this incident in 9th grade, I remember. Yeah. And I remember they had called my mom up. You know what I'm saying? They had called my mom up, okay, hey, your son is, selling drugs and whatnot,
Oh.
But they had no proof. It was just word of mouth. It was just spraying around. Yeah. I understand.
Keep going.
And it was like that. It was just spraying around, people were talking here and there that I was selling just weed, at the time. I remember I would always save up my money. I had money back then when I was freshman year. Yeah. Yeah, I was slanging, man. I was saving up, and whatnot, but...
So how much would you say you would make? Was it for your vicios?
At that time, I had no vicio.
No vicio at that time.
No.
You were barely getting into that.
Yeah, I was barely starting to... Drugs, we're going to talk about that in a minute. The drugs was something else, That was more 10th, 11th, 12, But the vicio, I would just smoke a little bit of weed here, like a little joint, like once every other day.
A joint once every other day. Yeah, we all start like that. Yeah. It's a different trip then and now. So yeah, I too, I used to sell dope, but it was just to go party and support my car, the gas and whatnot. Yeah. All right.
I was a freshman. I wasn't even riding a whip. I was freshman. They wouldn't let us go in there and park or anything,
Oh, see, and then at my time we
with,
could,
the older folks and everything. Yeah. Type of deal with the seniors, it was
man, crazy. Those are the times, man. Yeah, those were the times, man. So yeah, let's see, man. You know what? I don't want to hold off anymore. I want you to tell your fans and the listeners about that story, how you got into that cop car and smoked a joint and were able to even film it.
Yeah.
Give them some of that. That's just You don't see that,
let
man.
Let me get into that.
How did it even happen? Kind of go before, you know.
This was actually recently, but not too recent. It was like, I would say 3 years ago, you know. That was when I was already into snow, you know, meth, you know. I was doing acid.
Meth down here?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really cheap.
I'm learning some stuff here myself, people.
Simon, and I was doing all that stuff. I was just doing every day, bro. And it got to a point where, you know, I was living at my mama's, you know. I was kind of loqueando, you know. Already going into psychosis from staying up so long, you know. Kind of just like tripping out, everybody seeing everybody as a demon. Yeah, and at the time, I remember I broke up with my ex-girl, you know. Shout out to her. She's from Odessa, Texas, you know. We were kind of dealing with some stuff, long distance.
Shout out to the ex. Everything builds us who we are today.
With the M. Shout out with the M. I don't want to say the name, but shout out to you, big girl. And you know what I'm saying? But Simone, I broke up with her, you know. She had to leave me, you know. And I understand because, you know, I was just in psychosis. I wasn't doing much with my life. You know, I was just doing drugs.
You were spinning. You were in that spin. You're in that whirlwind. Man.
I was in my five senses, how you'd say, you know. Yeah. So, you know, I was arguing there, you know. And I was saying, I'm going to call the cops on y'all, this and that, you know, on my people. And they started, you know, saying it back to me, that man. They got back and forth, blah, 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 you know. And it got to a point where I was like, you know, I want to go to my grandma's, you know. That's my safe place, my grandma's.
Yeah,
on Riverside and West
Grandma. I used to live with my grandma.
She would always tell me, you know, you could come here any day, mijo, when te quieres quedar ahí, ahí está el cuarto libre para ti. There's like a cuarto there, which my tío used to stay there. And I remember Pablo, you know, they would always relate to me like him. Like, I was like him, you know, my tío Pablo. I was like, es como Pablo, because Pablo, you know.
You were a mini Pablo.
Yeah, because he was in and out of jail also on drugs. But shout out to him. Now he's doing good, you know, at Florida, West Texas, you know, he has a good family. He's married. He has kids, everything, you know. Shout out to him. But yeah, how the story went to go is my mom called the cops, you know, because I was like kind of just freaking out. Yeah, tripping. Saying
you was tripping.
They were trying to sleep, and I was like, yeah, this and that, you know, going on a viaje, you know, the drugs stuff and deal.
Yeah, we're going to get into the frequencies and whatnot in a little while.
The cops come, you know, I try to act normal because, you know.
That's what we do.
Yeah, when you're on drugs, you try to act normal, you know. And the cop was like, yeah, bro, just get your stuff, you know. I had a backpack there. I had like a little... probably like a half zip of some Dodie. And I was like,
you know,
and I told the cop, you know, I have bud there. He's like, yeah, bro, just grab your stuff, you know. I told him it was CBD or whatnot. Yeah, bro, just grab your stuff. I had some blunts there, some backwoods, you know, some banana backwoods. I remember that. And I remember putting, I think it was like
backwood. We're gonna charge you for this.
Yeah, shout out backwood. But it was like half a backwood, and those backwoods I was filling up with 4 grams, bro, Dodie, some EXO, you know. And I put it in my pocket. And the cop could smell the weed on me. I guess he didn't have time to just do the report, write a paper, get all charged with weed, you know, all this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And I was going through psychosis. And one night, he put me in the
cop car.
Shout out
to that cop, man. That he helped you out.
I don't know what his name was, but yeah.
No, don't put his name in. Okay. Shout out to him, though. You know who
Roswell
you are.
PD, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, he just, mijo, just get your stuff, you know. I could see that you're dealing with stuff, you know, psychosis, you know.
There are some good cops out there for the listeners, man. I've had run-ins, man, that they help us out. Not every cop is a bad cop. Yeah. So he told you, go ahead, put your, you know, don't worry about it.
He went all the way into my room, you know, locked me out, you know. He grabbed my backpack from me, put all my stuff, my belongings, my shirts, my clothes, my shoes, you know, in the back of his trunk. And I had that backpack right here in my pocket, you know.
Were you still, like, kind of iffy? Like, man, is he tricking me? Because you're going through psychosis at this moment. I can imagine the adrenaline and the things you're seeing and feeling and everything mixed into one. And now the cop is there.
I thought I was in a dream,
Okay, there we go.
But the proof is in the pudding, the fucking video that I had there. So
yeah, it is. I have seen it.
And pues, he's there, you know, and he's like, so where is your grandma? They had called my grandma already that they were going to go drop me off over there, you know. Because the cops could give you public transport.
Yes.
If you're in a sticky situation where you need to go get dropped off somewhere, you know.
It's up to their discretion. They can.
Which was up to me, you know. And he took me over there to West Side, like a 15-minute ride, you know. And plus, I had it, you know, and I had a lighter. I mean, he didn't pat me down or anything. That's crazy, but he was pretty chill. Shout out to that cop, you know. We were on our way to my grandma's. And right when we get into the hood, you know, arriving into the hood, passing like McDonald's or something, we were about to get in there. I'm like, you know what? I was looking at the blunt, like, what? I have a backwood Dodie right here. You know, I was just looking at it. I had a lighter.
You were in the front or back seat?
I was in the back seat.
In the back seat,
yeah,
okay.
Simon.
And
I was like, hey, cop.
He's like, I trust you, but not that much.
Yeah. And I was like, hey, cop, can I light it up? And he's like, yeah, bro, just go for it, man. Just go for it. Like, he was one of the chillest cops I ever met. And I went. There's a video where I'm lighting it up. And I started just smoking. I remember I posted the story there on my Snapchat, Facebook story, something like that, Instagram.
That is.
And I started smoking it there,
live,
right?
man.
Like that, just smoking it, and the cop actually started putting some music.
It's almost like you're in a movie.
Yeah, like something straight out of a movie, like something you see on Pineapple Express.
Yeah, exactly.
Like some comedy type of deal, but kind of like iffy at the same time. But it's real life,
You're
you know?
like, is this really going on?
Yeah. And Simone, and I was just lying, smoking it, enjoying it. He had some jams playing, and we got to my grandma's, you know.
So he was also jamming. He put on some jams for you.
Yeah, I don't know what he was playing. Probably like, I think it was NWA, bro.
He's like, fuck the police, fuck the police.
Yeah. Let's get back to it.
So he's playing NWA now, okay? Mm-hmm. So you already lit it up.
Mm-hmm. I'm okay. Smoking it.
What was the thought in your mind right there when you took that first puff? Was it like, what, if you can recall?
It took the edge off of the anxiety, the psychosis, but in reality, it brought me more psychosis into more delusional state of mind where I was thinking, "Ooh, I'm in a movie.
Where the hell am I?"
Yeah, Simone, I
can't be on Earth right now.
Yeah,
this
exactly.
Can't be
I thought I was dreaming. Like that was crazy.
And at this time, you were already making music.
Yeah, bro, this was recent. This was like when I was like 19 or 20, actually. Yes, I was making. That's
so
when I was starting making albums, like good stuff, good content, good music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and yeah. I was there in Simone. I was there, and pues, that's a crazy experience. And I remember getting there at my grandma's and whatnot. And pues, we got there. He took down my stuff. He didn't tell me anything. He's like, "Yeah, man, just give us a call if you need a ride anywhere like that or whatnot." And pues, yeah, I remember I took the bag with it right, and I threw it right in front of him, like right there on the grass. Not in front of him, but on the grass.
Yeah,
you know?
he knew.
You're like, he was aware. He was obviously aware.
Exactly,
you know?
he was aware.
He was just chill. I guess he didn't want to do all the paperwork. This dude is smoking weed and all that. He was tired. He looked tired. He had a rough day in Brownsville. He had a rough day. I could tell.
I think he probably was dealing with some major things, and he's like, you know what, I'm gonna do a good thing right now for this cat, man. That's wild. So you got dropped off at your grandma's. Mm-hmm. You relaxed.
Yeah, chilled
Smoked
out,
you another one.
Yeah, actually, I did in the morning. I was smoking in her room.
You wouldn't happen to have made a song about this, have you?
I haven't. That's the crazy.
All right, well, there you got another. That's gonna be a song, man. We got to do that. That's a good one, man.
Yeah, I'll record that for sure. But in the morning, they had called PD again. That's the down there. I told you that part.
No, you did not.
Let me go with that. They called PD. You know, they put me in court because court ordered to go into the detox / behavioral center.
Okay.
Because the way I was acting, very psychotic, And we went in there.
Who's they called the PD? Your peoples?
Yeah, but shout out to them because for my safety.
I
could have hurt myself. I had cuts.
It's out of love. It's out of love. At the
love.
moment, sometimes some of us don't think it's out of love, but some things sometimes. I mean, for our safety, shit like that has to happen. I know.
Yeah, and I remember they picked me up in the morning. I was like, no, I don't want to go. And I still had that half zip right there of EXO, and the cops looked at it. Like, They didn't tell me. They charged me nothing. They're like, wow. he's going through an episode, And they took it with you. I went with them, man. They took that sack with them, and I wonder where it's at now. They probably smoked it.
Right? The same cops like, man, we gotta get his number, man.
For real.
That's some up and smoke for stuff,
sure.
Well, dang, that is wild. So then you ended up going to a behavioral center?
Yeah, all out there in Edinburgh. Upper RGV,
I went to a book camp out there, and then they turned it into a rehab, like a St. Pete. I don't know. I wonder if it was the same one, man.
Yeah, this is called South Texas. No, it's Renaissance actually. It's called Renaissance. It's for like behavioral center, but like for people going through episodes. But mostly everybody that I've seen there is going through episodes from drugs,
Yeah,
it's not even rehab though. It's like mental facility, but like what I've seen there is people
like
coming
a half and half type.
Yeah,
thing.
half and half. But I've seen there it's mostly just from drugs, like the bars, the Xanax, That's hitting a lot down here.
Yeah, it is.
It's messing up a lot of families, the bars especially.
Yeah, that's what I'm on probation right now for.
Yeah,
it's crazy, man.
2 for 5.
So how long were you there for?
It's temporary. It's not a long-term facility.
Oh, okay.
I was just there for $5.
So kind of detox.
Yeah, They put you on meds if you want them, I was.
Well, you're lucky they give you the option.
Yeah, Simone. And I got my rest, I got my mind together back, I got out and plus, back again, just making music, chilling with the homies,
What is it that you try to get, your point of music? What does it do for you, and what are you hoping that others get from it?
I want people to relate to the stuff I'm talking about. Well, I try to touch every aspect, bro. Trap, you know, I like trap music also. I try to touch everything, you know, screamo, rap, you know, everything. But at the end of the day, I do it for myself and my fans, because I have fans out there that text me till this day, you know. I had gone ghost for like a year, and they were all texting me, like, hey, bro, what's up with the music, you know, when some new stuff popping, you know, what happened to you? I went ghost for a year, you know, because a year ago, let me tell you, I was heavily addicted to hard, which is something that, you know, it's very hard to get off of, you know.
Yeah, it is. I'm too a recovering alcoholic, drug addict, and with being here in the valley, a lot of cocaine and hard,
it's very cheap
man.
down here and everything. Yeah,
and,
hard.
I love that stuff, but I hate it with a passion at the same time.
I was so addicted to it, I couldn't even form words. I was already, you know, fucking.
Yeah, you were lost in the sauce, baby.
Lost in the sauce, man. At first, it was fun, how they say, you know.
Yeah, it's always fun until shit hits the fan. It's fun till the rabbit has the gun.
Yep, how it is and goes. And I was really skinny. I dislocated both my shoulders. I had overdose. I had died. You know, I had a OD from fentanyl. Let me tell you
fentanyl?
I didn't even overdose. I died from it. You die from fentanyl. You don't overdose. You die.
It's either you live or die.
Yeah, type of situation, type of deal. I remember my. Let me tell you this story. This was 2 years ago, actually. This was the first time I think I went. No, it's like my fourth time going to rehab. It was out in Origins, you know. Shout out to those people. And when I remember I had bought a bunch of blow. I probably bought like half zip or something, you know, for personal usage, you know. And maybe selling traveling theoretically, you know what I'm saying? But I was at the point where I had broken up with my ex, you know. I just doing lines, going at it, boom, boom.
You were just in that
like
go
point
mode.
Four, was like, you know, with no liquor, nothing. And I was getting a bunch of pills that I was seeing in my parents' cabinet, you know, and just taking everything, you know. Basically, what ended up happening, I remember taking that last line, went all out. Like, it was probably a 0.7, something like that. It was a fat line. You know? And I was
about
like,
a 20.
I didn't feel good. I knew something was wrong with this batch. I knew something was wrong with it. So it was like 3 a.m, you know. The devil's time.
The witching hour.
Yeah, the witching hour. Fuck all that. But I remember I feel it bad. I started tripping like, oh no, something's bad about to happen. I'm gonna pass out. I'm gonna die. And I started tripping, you know. So what I did, I went to my dad's room. You know, he's across from me. You know, I went like kind of just trying to stumbling and falling. I remember opening the door. You know, help me, you know, like kind of tripping, like I'm high, you know, like I did something bad, you know, boom, I passed out there. That's what he told me. And they had to like carry me down the stairs, you know. My heart was still pumping a little bit. Barely. And then they put me into the car, the truck, and they took me to the hospital. When I got to the hospital, I passed away, but they put Narcan on me.
Oh, okay.
And woke me up.
So you've had Narcan used on you?
That's what they said. I mean, fentanyl. They had drug tested me. Fentanyl came out positive. Fentanyl. I was in the bed, you know, waking up.
So you're a survivor. You're a survivor, man, and a survivor using Narcan.
And don't do no drugs, kid. No, nobody. Not even adults. Nobody. Don't even try it.
Yeah, this isn't to glorify. It's to get the background of who ZOBY is and what he's been through, so people can learn from this. You know, touching people through music and testimonies is what this is about, you know. So y'all that are listening, man, really listen to this. These are life lessons, you know, that ZOBY is sharing, and we're blessed that he's sharing this with us, because there's a lot of us out there that need this, you know.
I remember waking up there in the bed, and like I was plugged in back into life, like through a fucking like a socket, just, you know.
Yeah.
My eyes barely opening. And my people were really happy, you know, to see me that
you were alive, that you came to.
I was like, what just happened? I was like, still, you know, gaining consciousness, you know. Yeah. And with death, bro, there's just blank. It's everything's just black. It turns black.
Exactly.
It's just black. You're peaceful, calm, no anxiety, just black, like space, literally.
Yeah.
It's just black screen, bro. Everything just, you know.
Game over.
Exactly. Game over, literally.
Game over.
I think I remember those words came out. Game over.
Yeah.
Or it paused. I feel like it paused.
You got to pause.
Yeah.
A lot of people get game over.
Yeah.
You're a testimony, brother. A matter of fact, we just lost this guy named Joe Nestor, and it hit me hard because his music. He was a recovering addict. He was homeless for 10. I don't know. No.
I'm thinking about
and he just recently passed away, and I would listen to a lot of his music when I'm going through my stuff, man. And he puts testimonies just like this one out there, man. So I thank you for sharing this stuff with all of us, man.
Always.
It's a breath of fresh air, man. That you're here. You're able to make music. You're able to make a change and touch people. You're talented. So with that talent, what you're doing is an awesome thing, man. And I advise everybody, listen here, get in touch with my brother here, man. Get in touch with him, man. Get a one-on-one while you can before he hits it big.
Yeah, man. I've been
you know, and listen to his music, right, man. So
I do it for the love of the game, not for the money. You know?
After all that, man, it was recently, right? You say
2 years ago.
2 years ago. So from 2 years ago to now, how do you see yourself? How do you see that you've went forward? And if you don't mention it, I have that's something in my mind. Are you still using? Have you where are you at right now? Who is ZOBY right now?
I am 11 months sober.
11 months
and clean,
sober.
You know? Yep.
Well, that is tough.
Mark. Yep. I gained over 100 pounds.
That's awesome. Because you showed me pictures.
Yeah.
You showed me pictures, and who I'm looking at sitting in front of me right now is not who I've seen on the video and in these pictures, man. This is a testimony that's going to go down in the books, man.
You know?
So from 2 years ago to now, how have you grown? Like, how's your mentality? Where are you at?
I am more mature and responsible. That's the one key, you know, the keyword, you know, mature and responsible, you know, to the point where I care about what I do to others, you know. I care about the consequences before crashing out and doing something stupid, like, you know, fucking robbing or doing something dumb, you know.
Stuff that you used to do.
Stuff that I used to do, yeah, man.
You made it out, bro. You made it out, and not very many of us in the valley, especially at your age, bro. Because right now it's trap or die, trap or get famous and die.
Yeah,
you know,
and there's still homies out there still doing that, and I just wish them luck, and I hope to get out that world, because that world is crazy, and it will lead you down a bad path, bad stories, and I hope you make it out. And once you make it out, you see the good side of life. Don't get me wrong, I'm still in that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna. Don't get it twisted. You know, nobody get it twisted out there. You know, I'm still. You know,
you're still you. You're still me, we're ever growing.
We're still in the gutter, bro. I'm still in the gutter. Here. Yeah,
we don't leave. I mean, we just change and we try to take others with us. You know. So so you've grown, and you're trying to make your music from your past to the present. So do you have any upcoming projects? Do you have some stuff in the mix that the fans can look forward to?
I'm actually gonna make, I would say, album. We have 2 songs releasing now. His name, he goes by Alan 868. He's a Spanish rapper. Yeah, he's from Morningside, you know. Shout out Southmost.
Shout out Southmost, baby. Southmost. Shout out Negrito, man. Shout out Güero Liners. Shout out Cachas, man. You know what it is over there. Shout out Tanguma, man.
Yeah, and so Alan 868, you know, he's
a
Spanish rapper, you know, he could really rap his ass off.
Yes, he can. I've heard him.
Yeah.
I've heard him. Alan's talented too, man. He's another one.
From here on out, we're gonna work on a project, you know, it's in the
So there's gonna be a project in the works with you and Alan?
Yep.
All right. Is it gonna be like a joint? Like the whole album's gonna be both of y'all, kind of like
a collab.
Paul Wall and come in there type of thing. Like the whole album gonna be
like Drake and Future though.
Yeah, okay, like that. Yeah, exactly, man. There was one. I don't know if you heard it. I'm sure you have. I Can't Feel My Face.
That's The Weeknd.
No, not that one.
Not that one. This is
no. It's a joint collab that never came out. I don't think it did. It was Lil Wayne and Joel Santana. They made a bunch of songs, but I don't think they ever released that out, bro. If you ain't heard that, you need to. Yeah, it's live. That's when Lil Wayne ended up getting Joel Santana on Syrup and all that, and Cameron didn't like that and whatnot.
Some crazy holiday syrup.
I tried that once. I don't like that. That's not my thing, man.
I tried it when I was in freshman. I was actually a freshman when I tried it with my homie. He stole a little pint. His mom had gotten it from the doctors. This was way back then when people were getting it, like in 2015 from the doctors. Yeah, and we drank that. I remember this. My brody, he drank all of it. I was like, chug it.
Well, I drank it because I was sick and I couldn't go to sleep. So I drank. I didn't want to drink it because I don't like the way it makes me feel, man.
I remember my homie was already passing out in the front. I'm like, oh, bro, I don't feel good. I think it was probably expired, but I felt something.
It's liquid.
It was like liquid heroin. Yeah,
it's liquid heroin. Bar baby, man.
Yeah, bar his idea, but yeah. I mean,
R.I.P. Big Mo, man.
R.I.P. Lil P, man.
Hey, a lot of rappers, man. A lot of rappers have been out. So we're gonna be looking forward to that album, man. Your next projects, man. And then
I also have a solo albums, mixtape. I love mixtapes. I'm very into the mixtape era.
What you have mixtapes?
Yeah, I have mixtapes.
Which would be your favorite mixtape that the fans can?
Mixtape.
Because I've seen you got a whole catalog of music, and they're not gonna know where to navigate first. So we said the first 2 songs. Now how about mixtape wise? If they want to just press play, which one do you want them to go to first?
I would say Voss, VOSS.
Boss.
That was some crazy album. The way I worded that out.
I'm gonna tonight when I'm laying down, I'm gonna put that on, bro. I want to check that one out.
Or Angel of Death Volume 1.
Oh, that one. I think maybe I'll check that one out first. That's kind of right up my alley, bro.
I was just rapping. I would stay in my room, bro, just making music, like really dedicated. Like I was putting my life on it, you know?
Yeah.
Like
See,
I was
that's
addicted to the point where it was kind of getting too crazy, to the point I was just popping off. I could make a minute in 5-10 minutes, not to brag, but it's just the talent is there. If you want to say it, like if you check.
As you were saying, the talent is there. You know, you're not trying to blow your head up, but you know what you got, man. You know what you're good at, and you're good at it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been hit up by many artists across the world. I feel like you have to explore other genres, other people, you know, get their opinion.
That's what makes
not just the people around you,
a real musician.
Not just the people around you, but others. You gotta, I mean, especially nowadays, you know, we got social media. You could talk. I made a song with some dude from like England. His name was Squay. Yeah, Squay. I think it was Squay.
Oh, see, this is good stuff.
He put his song, our collab on his profile. You know, check it out, Squay, and yeah. It was released like 1 or 2 years
Y'all
ago.
really need to get on this guy's catalog, man.
Yeah.
He's the artist that he's the next XXX. I honestly, when hearing him,
type of deal.
He's in that, man. He's in that. A matter of fact, before we go, man, how did XXX? Is he a big influence on you? Because I can hear him. You know what I mean?
Always, yes. The way he would talk, the way he looked, you know, in a way, like, you know, his childhood was like mine, to be honest.
Yeah?
The way
I don't
he would
know too
explain
much
things,
about him.
I felt like I was looking at myself in the mirror when he would do his interviews and whatnot, you know, about fighting, you know.
Yeah, he was always
trauma.
fighting and stuff.
Yeah, I wasn't fighting that much, but when it got down to it, I would get down with it. You know, I've been fighting since I was a little kid.
I know, I heard that today.
And I remember, yeah, I think I have something there, a little bump somewhere, but
yeah,
it
man, no big
know.
deal.
It was just a homie type of fight, you know. It wasn't too.
It was those friendly fights.
The fights, you know, everything he's been through, especially the childhood trauma he had, you know. We'll probably get into that some other interview.
Oh yeah, believe me, there's gonna be more to come. We can't give you all of it right now, man. You gotta
tease, you know, preview.
But yeah, so X did. He's been a big influence. What's your favorite X song? First one that comes to mind.
Vice City.
He
was 16 when he dropped that.
Is that the one you showed me?
With the hey there you.
No, it was another one.
Season. But yeah, man. I was influenced a lot by X, you know, with the raw, you know. You don't need and all this program stuff, you know. X, he would make his stuff on his phone, bro, like a cheap mic, a cheap laptop, you know. It's all about talent.
Yeah, like you were saying, if you got it, you got it.
If you got it, or you got to work for it.
Exactly.
You got to grind it every day. I would put in.
Some people have to work for it. And then some people, you know, like yourself, you got it, but you still did work for it at the same time.
I overdid it to the point where it's like, damn, you know?
You were obsessive compulsive with it.
Yes, exactly. OCD on it.
Yeah, hey, man, but it done a lot of good for you, man. It's done a lot of good for you. So, before we go, man, give the people listening and the new people listening, as well as your fans, what do you want to tell them, man? What piece of advice, man, from your heart do you want to just tell them, man?
I would tell them, man.
Right now's the time.
Okay, let me go for it. If you're an outcast and you're at school, you feel like you're not going anywhere, just give it time, bro. Give it time. Everything comes into your hands. Everything you want, manifest. Whatever you put out there, the energy, it comes back.
Already?
That's what I'm saying, yeah. Even this interview, you know. If it hits one person at least, one listener out there, you're listening, you know. Feedback always comes back. Always think positive. Even if you think negative, bro, the negative is always going to be there. It's always got to be a balance, 50-50, you know. If you're stuck in a situation where like, fuck, man, I got nobody, bro. Like, damn, they're broke, you know. No one wants to fight with me, you know. I'm the outcast. That's good. You're doing good. Don't fit in with the crowd. Be the black sheep. Go your own path. And eventually you're going to find your people. Everyone's going to start fucking you, you know. Yeah, because I know there's some kid right now, probably like a fucking high school freshman, you know.
There's somebody going through what you went through.
I'm lost, depressed, anxious, you know. But just give it time, man. You got to go through the struggle, you know. You got to go through the illnesses, toxicity of this world that's given to you. Because everyone's a good person. It's just the experiences you've been through that make you as a person and mold you to the point where it's like, fuck, you know, I feel stuck. If you feel stuck, there's a way you could unstuck yourself at the end of the day.
There's a solution. Man.
There's a solution to everything.
Those are wise words coming from a young cat, man.
Yeah.
That means experience, man.
Yeah.
You've been through
just
a lot,
manifest, man. Manifest. I never thought I was going to be here. I didn't think I was going to make it past my 17 or 16 birthday. Just to be 23 is a blessing.
Yeah, I know what you mean, man. My mom and my grandpa, they were going to buy life insurance because they said, we don't think you're going to make it much longer, man. So I relate with that, bro. And I really feel very blessed that we did this interview, man. I've heard some things that I needed to hear. Because everybody needs to hear things, man. And nothing's an accident, like you say to your listeners, man. You know, get yourself unstuck, man.
Yeah. And everything always happens for a reason. At the end of the day, if you're going through a hardship or a bad situation, just know that situation is going to mold you into something better in the near future. Or even tomorrow, you know. Things could change tomorrow, literally. How my life changed, you know. I got sober. Clean. I was a very, very hard drug addict. To the point I was doing so much that my friends, the ones that introduced me, kind of, but I would influence myself. You know, I always wanted. No, I don't get influenced by anybody.
That's good. You're taking responsibility, man.
Mm-hmm. And it would get to the point where, like, damn, bro, you're doing too much. To the point, you know, we can't really handle you. It got to the point where I was in the room by myself, listening to music, you know, bumping some eggs, bumping some little peep, bumping some Drake, you know, just getting thrown out my mind. Yeah, lit, man. Once you find yourself in the room by yourself and it's 3 o'clock and the lights are off and you're doing lines, you know, you could understand what I'm saying. Drinking beers, drowning beers, Four Locos, all that, you know, it's crazy.
Yup. Hey, bro, I relate to everything that you're saying. I'm tripping right now, honestly, I am, because I've been through all of that, bro. Where I'm by myself, bro. I've been there, not here, it was at my grandma's house where I did like a whole 7 of Soft and Hard. At that time I was cooking it, and I was listening to, what's that, Young Buck. Is ever since the day I was struggling strong, something like that, and I was laying on the floor, I felt like everything was spinning, and I started crying, man. And I called my mom. She got there, and I had like a 60, and I started crying. I showed it to her and flushed it on Tony. So we've been there, bro. Yeah. And but that, see, and we're good now, man. Yeah. We're not the great, but we're good. We keep going, man. So to your fans, man, like you said, man, it's a blessing, man. And I really thank you for coming through, man. And I'm looking forward to the next project and
a
collab. And again, let them know your name, your age, and where they can find this music.
Artist name is @ZOBY, you know. I used to go by Little Zoby. I used to have a lot of acronyms, you know, a bunch of other names, but now it's just ZOBY, ZOBY space CO money sign T. Anywhere, just find me. YouTube, SoundCloud, you know, music, Apple, whatever, anything. And I am Juan Angel Pinales Jr. That's my real name. Born June 7, 2002, from Brownsville, Texas. Shout out to everybody, the whole Texas, the whole Valley, the whole RGV. Shout out to Anthony Sepulveda.
What it do, man?
What it do, yes. Simon.
Hey, well,
always fine.
Thank you, man. Thank you for coming through. Yeah, it was awesome, brother. And thank you all for listening and tuning in, man. Care. Check his music out, bro, and be prepared for the next interview. And we're going to get even more deep, you know, some more music, maybe videos, a collab and everything. You know,
everything. All right.
So thank y'all, man. We love you, man.
Y'all take care. Black Sheeps.
Already.
Yeah.